Hello everyone, this is Ross from retrodreambeam. I'm an eBay seller full-time. I've been doing this with my fiance Netta for more than 3 years now. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to go into what we were shipping out today on Thursday, so this was way better than some of my other days. This isn't like super crazy, but I was just like thankful to have like a day that wasn't absolutely in the pits. So I'm just going to jump right into it. And then we also have what Halloween is tomorrow. Today I actually think I'm not going to list today. I think I'm just going to step back from eBay. Some of the low sale days were extremely stressful, and I did list a bunch. And I also might pick up some listing on the weekend. I usually don't. I would say maybe one of every 4 or 5 weekends I'll list some sort of stuff, just if I'm bored or something, or want to get like a specific box or a specific category listed. All right, first thing right here is Thousand Sun All Is Dust acrylic. These are like blast sprays and AoE templates for a miniature game. I don't know what miniature game this is for. Let me see, right here it says Greenman Designs, so I'm sure, and it says All Is Dust right there on it, so completely forget what game this is for. But these ones are actually like really cool quality. Like this design right here in the front looks really awesome. Like I like the art and the aesthetic here, and they're acrylic ones. It was interesting because I was looking at my photos for these, and these were like really bad photos because there was a time where like I broke my phone, and then we got like a really cheap phone for me, which I thought would be perfectly fine. I don't care to have like an expensive phone as long as it works. But then the picture quality was really, really bad. So I listed for like a week or two with that bad phone. And then I was like, and then I can't take these pictures. They're so blurry and stuff. So they're probably gonna be happy when they see this because it looks way better in person than in my pictures. But people use these things for miniature games. Let's say if something does like a whatever, an explosion or like a dragon breath or something, they use these templates to put over everything to see like where the miniature is getting damaged and like what spots who's getting touched and how much damage. So that's what these are for. I like to sell these all the time. They're a little awkward to like ship, or at least baggy for me, because you'll have these like awkward long pieces. But this one for $7 plus shipping, everything's gonna be plus shipping. But I do like picking up all the area of effect templates and stuff. I feel like I sell them occasionally, so it's never anything too crazy. I'm sure there's some like promo ones or maybe metal ones that sell for more. There was like a Warhammer, it was like a reach one, meaning like when melee characters have like, you know, a long axe or a bardiche or a javelin or a pike or something like that, they'll be able to reach a couple inches, and you put it next to the miniature base, and it shows like that it has reach, and you can move it around to see if they reach the other figure. Got this metal promo one. I think we sold it. We definitely sold it when we've been recording. I don't know if it was like 1 month ago or 6 months ago, but it was like $50 or $45. So there are some that can sell for a bit. That was the most expensive like miniature piece I sold. That was like an accessory. All right, next up, this one is super interesting. So if anyone has this stuff, I would say dust it off, and if you're not going to use it, go ahead and list it so people can appreciate it. So I'm going to talk a bit about this. This is going to be Arkham Horror, the living card game, which is going to be a game where there's been a bunch of expansions. You have the base set. Everyone's playing investigators. There's different types of investigators. You can be like a survivor. I think you can be like a fighter, which is like the police badge and stuff. There's a bunch of different cool things. You can play a mystic, so there's some like spells in there. And then there's usually cards that you have like that layout and make a scenario, and you're going through this like evil encounter deck, and there's usually like a scenario objective, and then the evil side can win if like certain things are met. And every expansion adds more scenarios you can play. You can upgrade and change your actual deck for your investigator. Really fun game. You can change the difficulty if you want it to be really hard. And then there's certain skill checks in the game where you have this like bag of these like different symbol tokens, and you're like drawing them out to, you know, add numbers, subtract numbers, do different effects. So it's always, you always have these like tense moments in the game where you're like drawing in the bag and seeing what's going to happen. It's usually bad. But Arkham Horror's living card game has been around for a long time, and they announced, I would say like a week ago or something, that they were going to stop stocking a lot of their expansions. So a lot of these campaign games are going to be incomplete. A lot of these expansions come with player cards that are unique to that expansion. So I was unaware that this happened until I randomly had one of the campaign decks right here, expansion pack, small little pack right here. It's like 42 cards or something for the scenario. So that's the scenario. There's some dividers. I was looking it up, and I saw sealed ones for like 200, 300, 100, 150. I was like, I don't remember that being that expensive. So that's when I dug in and found on Reddit that they announced that they were not stocking some of the stuff. So I listed this one for like 90, and I ended up taking an offer for 60. I really wanted to get 65, but someone's going to appreciate it. This is going to go in their collection forever. And then these are going to be kind of hard to find. So if you find Arkham Horror Living Card Game stuff, there are various prices for the base game and expansion. So the base game is probably still going to be pretty cheap. It's a fun game if you find it for like $5 or less. pick it up and give it a try with like a significant other or just someone else. I think you can also play it solo if you want. I think it can go up to 4 players. I normally play with 2, Annette and I play it. But yeah, really good game. $60 for just this expansion. It's not even doesn't even have the survivor cards. Like I said, the sealed box for that, which only had a couple more things, is going for like 1 to 300. The price of this stuff is kind of all over the place because it changed recently. You know, the market doesn't know where to settle on that. So I just thought that was interesting. I always thought that a lot of board games or card games, especially these ones that have been around for 10 or 15 or 20 years, I always feel like they're like super cheap. So I'm always picking up cheap stuff just because I'm like, oh, it's just crazy cheap for like compared to other hobbies. So now some of this stuff is like randomly out of nowhere spiking in price. All right, next up is going to be this. This is going to be a lot of 315 green common Magic the Gathering cards. So this was also an interesting story because this was at an online auction. There was like a big bulk box of Magic cards. I'm like, you know what? Normally I know better my whole life that you just don't get those big random boxes because someone's probably already picked through and grabbed all the rares. But for some reason I got like caught up in the auction moment. I think that's the only time I really got caught up in the auction, you know, like fervor. And then I bid it up to $55. I won it. And then when I received it and it arrived, I looked at everything immediately. I was like, oh, I just got a bust. Like there was like a couple of cards for worth like $2 and maybe some cards I could get 50 cents for $1. But the rest of the cards, I just separated them by color because people like that for Magic the Gathering. I would do like commons or uncommons. There's barely any rares. So I ended up actually making my money from it and more. And this is kind of like the scraps from it. So this sold for $12 only for this, a lot of this. But at the time I was like, I just want my money back for that. So someone's going to appreciate that for deck building or something. Also, I show pictures of everything when someone gets like a lot of cards. So maybe there's a card or two, a common that maybe went up in price or someone won. So it might be worth a little bit more. That's okay with me. $12 for that. All right. Next up is going to be a lot of 100 square metal miniature bases. These ones are going to be 1 inch by 1.5 inch. I always talk about how people use bases and they need certain sizes for their miniatures for wargaming or, excuse me, whatever craft project they need them for. Doesn't even have to be for like miniatures or wargaming, but yeah, I'll put the size and I'll put like metal and color and stuff like that. These end up going for $15. I've been selling a lot of these metal miniature bases. I'm not sure why, but people are just picking them up for me every few days. So I've been happy. I had a bunch of those and just did them one day. It didn't take too long to list. All right, next up, this is a fun one. This is Steve Jackson, the Riddling Reaver right here. I don't think this is a fighting... Oh, this actually might be a fighting fantasy game book right here. I can't... Let me see. Yeah, it is a fighting fantasy one. This one's pretty beat up, though. It's probably why I didn't sell for as much. I don't remember getting this one. I feel like I gotten like reboots of the fighting fantasy stuff. Like we have our own series. It was like a remade one, so it's not like the vintage one. This one's just, it's really beat up. So I must have listed this a bit ago. But yeah, Steve Jackson, you see me sell the Munchkin stuff, and that's kind of like their forte right now. They're selling a bunch of the Munchkin game, and there's so many expansions, probably over 100. You see me sell promos all the time. But they used to do books and RPG stuff, and there were like other board games and stuff. So Steve Jackson's been around for a while. $16.87. If you ever see anything with Steve Jackson, just like at least look it up. Really iconic historical person that's done a bunch of the Nerd World stuff all the way up to this day. I think they still make stuff. All right, next up is going to be another Choose Your Own Adventure. So I'm not sure why I had a couple of these sell and some, I think, last week or something. I've been selling them a little bit. We got a bunch of these. It was like 400 or 500 of them. Super cool to go through. There's a bunch of different ones I didn't know existed. I knew about like the Goosebump book ones and a couple of other like, you know, classic ones, like the actual ones with like the white and then like the red banner. But all these other like odd ones I was unaware of. But yeah, this is going to be a Tron Legacy one. Like I said, they were from prices all over the place. So this one only sold for $8.99. I don't think I've actually ever seen the Tron movie technically. So I don't know too much about it. I know people like it. So, and then there's also some like mock-up board games or like similar themed board games. One's called Laser Riders with Z's. That one's trying to be like you're on a bike and then you're making little paths and then you're trying not to run into someone else's path. If they run into it, they lose. So it's like one of those games you play on like a 2-foot by 2-foot table space. But yeah, $8.99 for this one. All right, last up is going to be some German paratroopers by Italeri. I think I'm saying that company right. These are going to be some plastic little miniatures. These are going, there's only like 30% of them left in the box. So there's supposed to be like 48 right there. So I made note of that and I took pictures of all of them. It doesn't matter that the box is not complete. I just have to mention it. I like to keep it with the box because it just has the information on it, but I have to be like really careful. I put like the asterisk that it's only 30% complete, and like the title and the description. I try to describe it. And then obviously the pictures, I lay out all the miniatures, and then I will like just show that and try to do my best. So I've never had issues with these incomplete boxes. Like I said, people can still use these to paint them and use them for their games, or just little scenes that they're going to make, or they just want them. I'm not, there's probably a bunch of stuff people use the military miniatures for. I've been getting pretty lucky with them recently. So I've been, or I guess the whole time we've been on eBay, we've been always selling a bunch. I think it's our second best category, at least for this year. When you look at like the performance, it's just all my other miniatures game category. I wish there was more categories for the miniatures. It's kind of like, I think too restrictive. So everything I kind of end up putting just in other games or war games. That's like a random category. All right, I'm just rambling now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to help support us. Take a look at our links down below. Have a good one.